What's up? So we got Smallville Season 1, Episode 4, X-Ray. And yeah, last time we reviewed Hothead and it was a good episode. It wasn't the show's best, but it was good episode. Yeah, it was a good episode. But yeah, so this episode starts off with Lex going to a bank where the banker tells Lex that his signature is wrong. So Lex pulls out a gun and robs the bank. But Lex runs into Clark, and Clark asks Lex what's going on. But Lex replies by throwing Clark through a store window, causing Clark to get a new power, X-ray vision. And he sees through Lex's skin to see a green exoskeleton. Then we go to the Greer house as we see Mrs. Greer calling for her daughter Tina. And Tina is played by Lizzie Kaplan. Tina, played by Lizzie Kaplan, shows up. Mrs. Greer asks her daughter where Tina got the money, but Tina reveals she was Lexington Luthor because her power is to turn into other people. But Tina's mom wants to take the money back, but they tug of war over it, causing Tina's mom to lose her grip, fall down the stairs, killing Tina's mom. Yeah, what's up with these episodes and killing the mom characters? First Lana's mom, then Greg Arkin's mom, and now Tina's mom. What's up with this show? What's up with these 3 episodes? There's 3 episodes now where the mom character dies at the beginning of... Technically, Greg Arkin's mom died in the middle, but technically, yeah. Yeah, Tina does call 911, but she proves she's psychotic by saying it's nothing, letting her mom die. After the opening scene, we see Martha questioning why Lex Luthor would rob a bank. Bo Duke says that anything can happen, and Clark says he doesn't think it's Lex. But Bo Duke / Jonathan says, Clark, I know he's your friend, but come on, Clark saw Lex with his own eye, but Clark says he doesn't know what he saw. But Martha says there must be a reason for this. Then that's when Lexington Luthor shows up. Yeah, I call him Lexington Luthor. It's a whole jokey thing. I don't know what Lex's real middle name is, but his whole thing calling him Lexington is just a joke. It's fine. Lexington Luthor shows up like a creeper. Yeah, this becomes the Luthor's thing for seasons to come, where they just show up in the background, and they just show up unannounced. Lionel does it, Lex does it. It'll become more creepy as we go along, but yeah. Lex tells the Kents that it couldn't have been him because he was out of town, and that Lex robbed the bank didn't have his fingerprints. Lex says the money will return, and says sorry for throwing him through that window. Then at Smallville High, we see Clark, Pete, and other classmates in gym class. Clark, yeah, the first time we actually see Clark in a class. This is the first time we actually see Clark in a class. We see in season 2 we actually see him in a class, but we'll get to that episode. We'll get to Heat when we get to it. But right now, this is the first time we actually, if I remember correctly, this is the first time we actually see Clark in a class. Yeah. The coach tells Clark and Pete to climb the rope. As Clark is climbing, his X-ray vision activates, causing Clark to see through Pete's skin, and he falls off the rope. But as he falls, his X-ray vision activates, causing him to see the girls' locker room, and he gets turned on by seeing a naked Lana. Yeah, He literally does a turned on smile. He literally smiles, and it makes me think, yeah, Clark's obviously getting turned on by seeing Lana in her shorts. The scene says it for itself. Then Tina Greer shows up and talks about how she feels like. Then Tina Greer shows up and talks to Lana about how she feels like her mom's gonna send her to a foster home. But Lana says that Lana has the perfect life and says it wouldn't be nice if they were sisters. Run, Lana, run now before it's too late. You should be running. You should be running because that is a terrifying. Right. Well, Tina asks Lana if anything bad happened to Now, if anything bad happened to her mom, if Now were a doctor. But Lana says nothing bad is gonna happen to Tina's mom. Too late, Lana. Tina's mom is dead. Then we see Clark in his X-ray vision going haywire as he sees someone with green exoskeleton going to Mrs. Greer's store. Clark and Martha go into the store only to be greeted by Tina posing as her mom. Martha sees cash from the robbery in the store. As they leave, Mrs. Greer morphs back into Tina, just so they don't realize that it's not Tina. Martha is walking when she's almost run off the road by Clark in the truck. That's when the real Clark shows up, meaning the Clark trying to run Martha off the road was Tina. Then Martha, Duke, and Clark try to come to a conclusion to what she saw. Jonathan thinks Mrs. Greer, but Clark tells him that he saw a flash of Tina's skeleton and how it's weird and green and doesn't look human. Martha reveals that Tina was born with soft bone disease and how with drugs and experiments, doctors didn't believe she would live to see first grade, and she got better around her third birthday to be around the first meteor shower in 1989. Martha asks what's Tina doing now. At Lana's house, Lana discovers a book belonging to her mom, and after reading it, she confronts Aunt Nell about lying to her about her mom. Meanwhile, Lex is approached by Roger Nixon of the Inquisitor about Lex's criminal record, and Roger mentions Club Zero. Ooh, what's Club Zero? I guess we'll find out in episode 14, because there's a whole episode about it. Roger wants to pay Lex money to have his criminal records destroyed, but Lex takes his contact card, driving away angry. Meanwhile, Lana goes home where Nell tells Lana what she read is of a snapshot of a teenage girl, a snapshot of one time in her life. Lana says it's like she wrote that thing herself. Nell tells Lana that her mom was beautiful and the brightest in her class, and the graduation speech she made that day. Lana asks if Nell has a copy. Nell says no, but she does remember the first line that Lana's mom Lana's mom never made a difference in Smallville, but maybe her kids can. Then at Smallville High, we see Tina and we see Clark looking from afar at Tina. Then Chloe and Pete snap Clark out of his staring of Tina. Clark asks Chloe and Pete if there's anything weird about Tina. Pete says that the only weird thing about her is her idolization for Lana, and Chloe says Tina's basically Lana's clone. Chloe and Pete leave as Lana and Whitney come along. Tina calls Lana's name, and Whitney says Tina's really got Lana low-jacked. I don't know what that means. Lana comments on the shirt looking like hers and says she got it at the same store. And then Whitney says the most funniest lines Eric Johnson can ever said. By Whitney says, "I'm not surprised." That is just hilarious. I love how Whitney's just like, wow, I'm not surprised. that I never laughed at that until I rewatched it last night. And then as I was doing the script, I watched it and I was like, wow, that was funny because it's perfectly timed. Like, Tina's like, oh yeah, Lana, I got it at the same store. I got it at the same store. And then Whitney says, why am I not surprised? Then Whitney leaves and says we'll see Lana at lunch. Tina asks Lana how she is because she asked Nell said she wasn't in the mood, and Lana says she said that Tina says that her mom is moving to Metropolis full time, but since she does, Tina's mom's dead. But yeah, she says that she doesn't want to pull her out of school, so she wants her to live. So she says that she wouldn't mind if Lana lived with her and Aunt Nell. Tina was thinking she can move in with Lana and Nell. Lana says that for how long? Tina says for maybe 2 months, thinking that she can move for 2 months. And Tina says Mrs. Greer would pay them because they have a lot of money. She could get a horse and they could go horse riding together. Tina says that it would be cool. Lana says yeah, she has to think about it. And she says her mom's okay with it. Tina says it was her idea because apparently Mrs. Greer knows they're best friends and it was Mrs. Greer's idea. Tina says that Lana says she actually thought Lana would be happy. Actually, no. Tina's Greer's idea. Lana says she needs to ask Nell, but Tina says Nell loves her. Tina freaked out by saying she thought Lana would be happy, and that Tina says she thought Lana would be happy about this. Lana would be happy about this because people said they look alike, and Tina says they could be sisters. Again, run, Lana, run, please just run, Lana. You need to stay far away from Tina Greer as much as possible. She's a psycho. And then Lana says she doesn't think it's a good idea, and Tina goes psycho again by saying so it was all a lie, and that Lana pretended to be her friend, pretend to like her so she could come to Lana in her time of need, and Lana could blow her off. Lana tells Tina to calm down, but Tina again freaks out again by telling Lana that she should have said yeah and it would be perfect. Then Tina goes to her locker. Actually leaves. Clark uses his x-ray vision to see into Tina's locker and see that the money from the bank robbery. But Tina calls Clark and asks why he's looking at her locker. Clark tells Jonathan and Martha about how he focused on Tina Greer's locker and how he saw the money from the bank robbery. Then in her mom's shop, we see Tina writing Lana's name as Deputy Ethan, who becomes a major character in the next season. Actually, kind of in this season, but he kind of plays more important role in the next season as Sheriff Ethan. But right now, he's just Deputy Ethan, but he later gets promoted to Sheriff Ethan. But we'll get to season 2. And Deputy Ethan and his partner show up to see that so Tina morphs back into her mom and questions deputies on what they're doing there, and they say they got an anonymous tip from an anonymous source. And Tina kind of figures out who that person obviously was. So at Clark's office, Lana shows up and kisses Clark. Clark asks about Whitney, but Lana's like, Whitney who? I don't care about you. So when they kiss, Lana morphs into Tina, and Tina tells Clark that he should stay out of his life. Tina uses her strength to throw Clark out of the barn, or out of his loft. Clark deduces to Martha and Bo Duke about he thinks the meteor shower did something to Tina Bones, and Martha would call the police, but Clark's like, no police, he's got a plan. Meanwhile, Lana asks Chloe if the torch has video recording of her mom's graduation. Then Roger Nixon visits Lex, gets his money, but Lex again shows his dark side. Yeah, last time he showed his dark side was, I think, with Dominic. And Lex's dark side comes out when he said if Roger leaves the mansion, he'll make sure Roger gets erased from existence. Lex wants to hire Roger, discovering how he survived the bridge accident, and Clark goes to Lana to talk to her. Meanwhile, Smallville High, Whitney is talking to Lana, and Lana is being a bit more kissy with Whitney than she usually is, and Whitney kind of likes it. Whitney asks for Lana's jacket, but as he gives it to her, as he leaves, Lana morphs back into Tina Greer once again. Back into Tina once again. Clark and Pete go to Mrs. Greer's shopping, and Clark uses his X-ray vision to see a dead body in the cabinet. They go to discover the dead body is Mrs. Greer. Pete says, "Who's that?" Okay, so Pete doesn't know who Mrs. Greer is. It's kind of funny. And Clark says that's Tina's mom. And they discover Tina's handwriting of Lana's name, like we said before. Did I say that before in the previous one? Okay. Good. Check this. I gotta check it from my script if I mentioned the whole thing. Yeah. Oh, and I did. Yeah. At her name writing, we see Tina writing Lana's name. Then here, Clark and Pete discover Tina's writing of Lana's name. I almost said Lang. I almost said Lang's name, not Lana. But gotta change that to the actual thing. Lana's name. Clark discovers that Tina is taking her obsession of Lana to the next level. Pete says that Tina wants to kill Lana, but Clark says no, she wants to become Lana. Lana's at her parents' grave when Whitney shows up and says that Lana's parents are never coming back and she doesn't deserve her life. That's when he morphs into Tina, telling us that Tina morphed into Whitney from taking his jacket, and she deserves Lana's life. As they get into a struggle, she takes Lana's meteor necklace, and I don't call it meteor rock necklace. I call it the meteor rock necklace. Well, obviously, I've changed it to kryptonite necklace when they define the word kryptonite in the show. So yeah, traps Lana in the crypt, and when Clark shows up, Tina turns into Whitney again and uses the meteor necklace. Clark asks Tina where Lana is, but Tina says Tina doesn't. But Tina, as Whitney said, Tina doesn't exist anymore. Clark says that he understands trying to keep a secret and what happened to her mom, but Tina says to Whitney that was a long time ago and not to worry about Lana. Clark will be joining her real soon. As Tina, as Whitney says she killed Clark once, but she's not going to make that mistake again. But the meteor rock necklace is out of Tina's hand. Clark regains his powers and knocks out Tina. Clark uses his X-ray vision to save Lana. Chloe gives Lana her mom's graduation speech, video, audio book, and hears it in the car as the episode ends. So that was X-Ray. Tina was a psycho. We wouldn't find out what happened to Tina as a character until next season, with season 2, episode 11, Visage. So yeah, this is where Tina's story kind of ends for this season. We wouldn't find out what really happened to her until next season, in season 2, which we'll get to that episode when we eventually have to do the script for that one. Yeah. It shows that the show is getting better. Clark gets a new power. Tina was crazy, and as I said, season 2, episode 11 would tell her fate after 1 or 2 years because she got knocked out. And it was weird that the police didn't do anything. Yeah, the one thing about this show is that the police don't do anything. Wouldn't they hear of a girl turning into other people, and that random farm boy from Kansas defeated her? Wouldn't they hear about that? I'm confused. So, yeah. That was my review for season 1, episode 4 of Smallville X-Ray. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you next Smallville.